Sorry?
About since 1925 when the incinerator was built.
And my point is for him though, that it stopped operating in 1970, right?
Yes. I've been there when cars.
So you're looking to see whether you or anyone else around here was exposed to that time frame. I'd have to look into that. I'd have to look into that.
You have Mr. Clark there, I'm pretty sure he'll get back with the community.
Sorry?
You have Mr. Clark there, I'm pretty sure he'll get back with the community on that.
My name's Dawn. I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 6-month-old, and some of the other parents that are here tonight. Our kids have been going to Lake Park for a very long time, so we have a couple of follow-up questions. The man that was up here earlier, his daughter's been going for 8 months. I mentioned at the first meeting on Monday, I feel like, and I spoke to Lorna on the phone, I feel like, and I hope that you're looking at it in this way, that I feel like there's two different parks. There's a park now, which is, theoretically capped with all these layers of rubber, dirt, disinfectants, and the artificial turf ultimately. But I feel like there's the other park that, for example, my older daughter learned to crawl in that sand. So a lot of our kids did. A lot of them had it in their hands, in their mouths. We are all hoping, please, that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, that nothing has happened, but we're terrified, None of us are going to that park anymore, and I feel like until it's remedied, and remedy being not artificial turf over a dump site, remedy being contaminated dirt removed and properly disposed of, and the park rebuilt on safe land. That's the only way I know myself and my fellow parents are going to feel like comfortable in any way bringing their children there again. A lot of people have been exposed to some degree. Their kids in the sand, and then their kids touch them, and pregnant women exposed to it, and we really want to make sure that that part of the park is being tested. That part in the center, where, almost envisioning it like, what was it like when the sand was there? That we want to make sure it's being tested in that regard. What were our kids exposed to when they were playing in that sand, which had no barriers to this contaminant? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Your concern is very valid. I think you and I talked when we had a meeting this week, and I am part of this community. My daughter, she's 26 years old. I took her to this park, and to many parks in the country. I have also similar concern. But I want to assure you that we're doing everything possible to evaluate not only the existing condition of the park, but what happened, what type of soil, what the soil condition in the park before it was capped or before it was.
So samples have been taken in the center.
In fact, Friday evening I was with a consultant and I think one staff, and I've recommended that we talked about the sampling plan. I recommended what you said, to increase the number of samples and take some samples in the center of the park where children tends to play.
And I assume in 2 weeks, when you have all your results back, that you'll categorize now and then to some degree, because, the parents whose kids were playing in that sand, it's a whole other ball of wax,
The density of the soil samplings is graded at the kids park area.
Right.
And we have expanded the assessment, and as I said before, to answer your questions, we're going to use the data below the field that was placed there for that artificial turf. The toxicologist will run their models and then give you specific advice, and we will bring that information to you. And then with that information, we'll provide the specific requirements to the city of Miami, how to properly close the park. We just need the information. And I know the anxiety, I completely understand that this is the site that we have identified based on the active result. So we're doing our very best to complete all the data in 2 weeks. I just need a few days for the Department of Health to work on that, and then we'll
Yeah,
do
we're
a full
rather
presentation.
absolutely.
Correct.
The other question is just because now we're all looking for other parks to take our kids to until we know what's going on. There's some confusion about the other parks. Merry Christmas Park, Kirkland Road Park, Marjorie Stone Park. Are there?
Merry Christmas Park was actually a sample. We're going back this Wednesday to collect additional samples. The samples were okay. Douglas Park was sample and it was okay. Actually, I used to take my daughter
Which park?
the Douglas Park. So
Douglas.
we have, in addition to the 3 parks that you saw on the table, we have 8 other parks. So when you see the information posted, you're going to see every single part that was already sampled and the results. But we are continuing to do an additional sampling.
So that sampling isn't in yet. For example, Marjorie Stone Park on 22nd Avenue, Kirkland Road Park here, right in the grove, right on.
As I said, we have 8 that I can share with you, and we are sampling, as I said, 1 more this Wednesday. And we're going to work with the city in a systematic approach to sample the parks to answer those questions about oversight.
So the other parks just still kind of inconclusive. I mean, as far as what I should report back to other parents that are asking me, are these parks?
What I will do, I believe we have your information, so we're going to send you a list of every single park that we have sampled that the results were okay. We'll email that to you so you can share with your fellow.
That would be great. Thank you.
We'll do.
Okay, appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jose Javier. I live in Shenandoah, but I'm the state representative for this area, so I just came tonight to hear what's going on. You know, I want to thank you for doing this. I know that a lot of people have a lot of concerns, and you knew that people would be worried and asking a lot of questions, and you did this event. Thank you for putting the information out. Most of the questions that I had were just answered, but one is just relatively simple. As I was watching the end of the slide presentation, it seemed that the metric you were using was based on industrial and commercial. And to point out the obvious, residential neighborhood and neighborhood parks. And so perhaps I missed it at the beginning of the presentation, but why is that?
The only reason I used the commercial industrial was for the fire training facility inside the facility. Only to illustrate that when we review the data results, we look at the land use. We are not using commercial industrial for residential or parks in areas. I only use it for the fire training facility. There was one single sample result for Barry that I wanted to illustrate. This is an example. That result was about 200 milligrams per kilogram. It's slightly above the residential. But when you compare to commercial industrial at 130,000 milligrams per kilogram, you can see that it's, notwithstanding that it's there, it is safe based on the actual land use. When we used the comparison for the area wide, we were using the screening criteria that is based on the residential, and we did the additional evaluation. So no, we only use commercial industrial for that property. Furthermore, we only use commercial industrial when the property owner, in this case the city or a private owner, agrees to a deed restriction, a covenant drawing with the land. The land will be maintained only as commercial industrial. If at any time the land use is proposed to be changed, it will have to be clean to the residential level. So we have those two instruments in place. In addition, once we issue a closure subject to those conditions, we do an inspection to verify that the land use has not changed. So if it goes into the deed, so any potential buyer is aware of, and if there are any potential land use, we apply the appropriate criteria. If it's more stringent, that's what we apply.
In addition to this, when we do our health risk analysis, we look at the metric used by DERM, which is recommended by them and the health department, CDC, and EPA, with the residential cleanup level. And then when we look at the data, we take the highest concentration and we run the analysis on the groups. So our analysis will be very conservative. Okay. Good question.
Hi, my name is Alfred Williams, and I'm a product of Coconut Grove. I went to school here, junior and senior high school. I also work here, Water and Nix Corporation, where Mayfair stands today, Water and Nix came up in the meat business, and if there was any evidence of salmonella or anything else, your department was closed. It didn't have to be a high level, it didn't have to be a low level, just evidence. And it was closed. Now, with the evidence that you have today, you can't close the bars. I don't quite understand that. Been around a while, and suffering now, but Dr. Gabriel Contreras was my doctor, followed me through dialysis and the 9-year study. I'm 70 now, but I do have chemo, and I'll move on from here, but there is information as to what the findings were. It was not just the University of Miami, it was different universities all over the United States that participated in this program. I just happened to be one of the people that they found in trouble at Jackson's Emergency Center, trying to get medication, and they asked me to participate. So there is information there.
Thank you, sir.
Just to reiterate, it seems that there's a lot of questions about one specific part, understeered part, and can we show it again? Kevin, I'm sorry. If you look at the first 2 rows, one recommendation that we provided to the city of Miami is that for certain parts, and this is one specific one that we knew there were specific questions, each of these samples, this is one sample result, but it is the result of multiple sub-samples. We use a simple technique that is called composite technique. So we collect between 9 to 12 sub-samples. We combine these soil samples. Let me give you a specific example. If I wanted to have a composite sample up here, we will have samples from each side at different locations. They will be combined into a single sample to improve the data, how representative it is. So each data set for each 0 to 6 inches, this sample is the result of composite of multiple subsamples. That's important to keep in mind. In addition to have 6 to 12 inches, then you have a separate subsample of another series of samples. All the results, PCBs, dioxide, antimony, arsenic, barium, cadmium, copper, lead, all of them are below the first screening criteria. They are all below this result. Arsenic, as we said, we needed to do the comparison because although it's above the initial residential, the Department of Health evaluated, and the results using the maximum concentrations in a follow-up conversation last Friday with the toxicologist from Tallahassee. We went over this data. I wanted to make sure that I could tell you that even looking at the maximum concentration of this part, the results are well below the Departments of Health expectations of potential illness. So these results were evaluated. I personally followed that question. So that specific part, we doubled the number of samples. Each sample represents composite samples. The information is considered to be okay.
Just to add to what you are saying, all these results for the regional sampling planning, they were evaluated by our toxicologists. They are certified. They are in complete communication with CDC and EPA. And basically, we took the highest concentration of the chemical of concern, which is arsenic, at 6.9 milligram per kilogram. And when we did the health risk calculation, it was very clear that at this concentration, which is within the background level for arsenic in soil in Miami-Dade County, is unlikely to cause any illness. So that's the assessment of the health department.
Good afternoon. My name is Vernon Hawthorne Clark. I was born in Coconut Grove 77 years ago. My things that I'm interested in. The people in the district that I live in, and the district I'm talking about, is from 3700 block all the way to the Carl Gables going west. You have not mentioned at all south the project where those people live. I don't know whether you're taking a sample or not, but the gentleman right there, I asked him to see if he got offended when I asked him, did you write this? Right here. Yo, come and see it. I can't walk. I can't say it. I do have it. I'm asking you. I'm with you. Did you write that? Is that your? That's your name on top? Say it to me. Okay, you wrote that, am I right? That's an accusation of what had happened from what time? From the time the allegation was made against the incinerator, or when this that they happened, because I read it and I went blind and they had somebody read it for me. And I'm going to ask you a specific question. I'm going to be around. Now, step aside. That's my best friend. For him, I'm going to die looking for him. So this is not an allegation against somebody that would have happened to Charlie. This is something about my brother is dying with cancer. My mother died with cancer. Everybody lives in 3719 Thomas Avenue. And I'm going to ask you a question. Sir, stand up. I came here, that's what I came here for. When water flows, do you know where we're sitting at now, Coconut Grove? We're sitting on what? West Road, the white people call it. Where the black people come out and say, where were we sitting on? We are sitting on tall rock. This is the most strong piece of land in Dade County because all the water, if you come from the Bay Shore and come up here, you come from the hill, and water floats down up in the garden. Am I right, sir? I learned that in 5th grade. I went to a segregated school, and they taught us where we lived. Here, before the allegation, University of Miami found, I don't know how you found it, we all do. And we have all kinds of intelligent people here. Lawyers, doctors, 2 city commissioners, whatever, and they all do reading and writing. Now, you said something I couldn't understand. Tell me, I don't have to know. Also, from 1960 to 1970, when they first closed the incinerator down, right? The people in Carl Gables filed a suit. They did not find any contamination from the area where my cousin got up there and said he lived on Brooklyn. That's his grandmother did. There was no contamination, anything found around there prior to now. Because don't forget, the city of Miami spent $2 million before this young man came to the city. And those people did not monitor. The homeowners, everybody, even myself, we did not stay on the job. Tell me, when they put this out here, was anything found? Put it back up there. Put it back up there. Put it out to you. Because what you gave me, I looked at it. It's a little different for me. Those soil analysis that you've done, you have not found anything that's dangerous for people who live within a mile radius. Or half a mile radius, with the incinerator is, from what you got.
From all these samples.
Do you understand the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me go to a different side.
I'm not talking about when somebody found out, because everybody knew. I'm talking about the problem. Don't get upset.
No, I don't. We collected derm samples.
When did you collect the samples?
That's what the figures I was going to show you.
Okay. Did you cross-section with the ones that they had that are from 60 to 70? Did you cross-section with the samples? I did have a lot of them.
Let me show you the locations of the samples that we collected. The 40 locations I illustrated in a map were distributed 1 mile around the former incinerator. Let me show you the graphics, the best way that I can describe it to you. Those are all the locations. They are number 1 through 40 that we collected around the former incinerator.
So that's 36, whatever number you call it, it's 3,700 bucks, 3,600 bucks.
Here's what I can do. If you can give me the specific block area, I can zoom in at a different time and I can share with you what we have in a particular survey.
This young lady has a question. I'm going to have you one-on-one because I think there's some things I might say. I don't want to make a bad impression that I'm trying to do something wrong. But I didn't do it. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. All these educated people out here, all I'm talking about that Charlie out there, whatever. But this is where people are dying. I might be dying because I have kids. I'm not saying about that. Longevity might go through. But something that you're saying doesn't connect with the common people like all the cousins here. It doesn't make sense. You might be right. These people got to talk simple like this, man. Break it down. Tell the people, say, from the project that you missed on the south side. Have those people been tested, the ground been tested there?
Again, I can only show you the location that we sample. So please assist me. You see the location, so we did not sample every block area within the 1 mile.
All right, let me help you out. I want you, before you come back here, I want you to go and get the sample that was taken for the fire department got there with the $2.2 million to build that place. The dust up there where he lived on that lake there, I want you to got there, the wind blowing, the monsoon, you know, night because the wind blowing to our cables. This is not a complete testing of the soil, sir.
I'm Linda Williams, and the gentleman who's before Mr. Clark is my husband, and he is doing well. I represent homeowners and tenants association, and I'm certain that our next meeting will have a lot of questions. This meeting, while it is very informative to a lot of people, we do have a lot of lay people here. These numbers don't mean anything right now. Our community, being West Grove in particular, are concerned about people coming to us when we have a need and giving us the answers right away. While this project is ongoing and will be ongoing because it is not satisfactory tonight, and there are pending studies, but I've been watching the news of late, and we vastly studied over a year ago, and we're just now getting bits of information. Whereas just this afternoon at 4 o'clock, all that I saw in the news was about the doggy park. And I'm not opposed to your answering those questions and addressing the doggy park. But we are human beings, and we've been asking for a long time. And to give immediate response to the doggy park, West Grove residents are furious. Because, Commissioner, we have been asking, and there have been reports out there about contamination of this incinerator. And if we can just be assured that information that's forthcoming means something, it's real, because I can't cipher these numbers, I'm not a scientist, but I could be made to feel assured that the information I'm getting can be trusted, that it's true. We have lived here all my life, and I'm 60, and I played on that park at Carver. I marched on that field. I watched my friends play football. And if it's all that great, is the football field going to now be restored? Because there is no contamination to worry about? Are we going to tell the parents of Carver Middle, it's fine, it's okay, there's nothing to worry about? And yes, I believe that a history of our grandparents even should be coming forth to see if there is a problem with illnesses in this area because of those smoking. Right here. these are simple questions. I've put it in simple language. And we want simple answers. How to go forward. If what we get from you is true, can we be trusted? Can our kids play here? And then the people that walk their dogs in their doggy park, they're going to feel safe, like we want to feel safe. That's all I have to answer to my constituents, well, the residents of West Grove.
So, simple answer to the question. West Grove is safe. That is exactly what they've been telling you. They've tested 47 samples. They've all come back safe. They described to you a high level of arsenic, and they gave you a legitimate reason for having that because South Florida statistically has slightly bigger. The question then became, why are we even talking about Blanche Park? Because we took a random sampling and we found Blanche Park, and what we're finding there isn't aerosolic ash. That means we're not finding ash that made its way over as a result of wind currents, as a result of a smokestack, or as a result of humidity. What you're finding the signature of in Blanche Park is that it was a dump. That somebody took remnant ash that had come from an incinerator. They don't know which incinerator, and they don't know what incinerator. And apparently, between 1942 and around that time frame, put the ash in Blanche Park before it became a park. That's about what we know. So it's a shame that I guess the two are intertwined in some respect. They got intertwined as a result of the incinerator investigation. The incinerator investigation was really more to look at the wind patterns to see where the aerosolic ash would have fallen. And as it turns out, Blanche Park appears to have what's called remnant ash, which means that somebody in 1942, right around while World War II was being fought, right around the time that nobody even understood what EPA was, what the environment was, and what this land was like in 1942. Because that was apparently a pit, and somebody determined that they were going to put what we describe as remnant ash in there. I'm not going to go down there. The bottom line is, folks, they have done every analysis. The city of Miami, and if you listen carefully to what he said, the city of Miami did more random samplings